A reasonable question for the audience is, well, why is an LLM builder like Cohere at Dell Technologies World? Why would you look so deeply at infrastructure? And I think that very quickly takes us to the discussion around agentic AI, the issue of AI memory, and why having at the edge proximity to where the data's from give value. That's, I think, what we're talking about here in your relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So we're here to announce our partnership. And the reason that we're partnering with Dell is because for enterprises, as they're adopting this technology, security is incredibly important. And access to the infrastructure that powers the technology is important. That means GPUs and hardware, which is what Dell does best. And so we're announcing our partnership to deploy our North platform, which is our AI agent platform, on-prem with Dell for their customers.
It's a competitive field. Cohere is kind of seen as the smaller player when you think about Anthropic and OpenAI. What is your competitive moat? What is it that makes Cohere different, Aidan?
I think what makes us best is our focus and the fact that we're able to deploy so privately. So there's no other provider that's able to provide a product that goes on-prem, that goes on any cloud, and that enterprises feel comfortable plugging in all of their data. Because it's not being sent to Cohere, it's staying on their infrastructure.
And so that security element is what would push a customer to choose you over one of those names like OpenAI and Anthropic.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to build agents, they need to be able to see the information and access the systems that the humans within your organization see and access. And to do that, you have to have a lot of trust in that system. You certainly don't want critical customer data, patient records, going to some other entity and maybe getting compromised. And so Cohere's deployment model is just by far the most secure.
What kind of an unlock is Dell on working with Dell? Like, in very simple terms, Dell takes an underlying technology, I'm assuming from NVIDIA when we talk about the accelerator, but AMD, Intel, puts it into the server format and helps you build that infrastructure out. But that's not your area of expertise. So just reflect on what it's like working with Dell and how it's allowed you to kind of move more quickly, I suppose.
So I think similar to Cohere, Dell has the trust of the world's enterprises. The most secure and private deployments are powered by Dell. So we've been incredibly lucky to partner with them. For us, they are a go-to-market partner, they're a technology partner, and really they're helping us develop this product North for the enterprises in extremely regulated sectors that have those high privacy security constraints.
There's been reports about Cohere's sort of financial success. I think on a run rate basis or annualized basis, $100 million of revenue, something like that. Talk more about those numbers and the trajectory that you're on as a business selling to enterprise.
Yeah, so since ChatGPT has come out, the enterprise world has kind of struggled to catch up and keep up with the consumer market, but it started now. So last year was kind of the year of the POC, but now we're seeing production. We're seeing these enterprise deployments hit the hands of every single employee within the organization, and so it's really started to scale. We've already doubled revenue since the beginning of this year, and so we're seeing a total takeoff on the enterprise side of the business.
Profitable?
We're not profitable yet.
And what are the biggest factors in that? I'm guessing it is compute and talent that keeps you spending money.
Definitely compute. We have to build these models, but I think we're very, very close to crossing that line and becoming profitable. We're not far away. And so the enterprise market's growth is really fueling our own growth. But we'll continue to invest. We want to grow as quickly as possible. And so we'll keep scaling up the team, the compute, and marketing.
Unless I'm mistaken, because I look at the headlines every single day, I think it's been almost a year since you've raised any money. And even those bigger beasts, Anthropic and OpenAI, continue to use various mechanisms to raise funds. What will you do next?
Of course, we're a startup, so we'll continue to fundraise and fuel the business. We have nothing to announce right now, but you can imagine we'll continue to fundraise and grow as we approach IPO.
If you're in this environment with $100 million annualized revenue, and you think about growth into next year, you said revenue's doubled so far this year, I think you said, right?
More than doubled.
More than doubled. What is it within enterprise that's driving that? Are there specific sectors, in the financial industry or in healthcare where you're finding you get traction in those bigger deals?
So because of how secure we are, our product really resonates with regulated industries. So think financial services, public sector, telco, energy. These regulated industries, they currently can't access the technology without having those security constraints met. And so our partnership with Dell, our private deployment model, really lends itself well to them.
It's so funny how things change. You know, there was a time very recently where trying to push a company to go on-prem basically was like unthinkable. We were all moving to the cloud. How hard is it to be, not U-turn, but pivot back to a different infrastructure model and say to customers that want to work with you, like, this is the best way of doing it?
I think we've gotten quite good at it. We don't want our customers to compromise. And the other piece of it is to really see the ROI of AI and these agents. Those agents need to have access to all of your systems. If you don't trust the technology, you're not going to plug it in to those systems. And so maximizing trust just points in the direction of on-prem or extremely private clouds. And for regulated industries, it's a must-have. It's the only option. And so I think we've gotten quite good at that, and it's not as painful as it used to be.
Aidan, can Dell move as quickly as you need them to?
I definitely think so. I think they are.
Any illustrative example on that?
I think that we were able to get a North instance up and running on Dell within a week. And so the velocity on that side, fitting to their hardware, their rack, that I think proves that the urgency from both sides is there.